We are live. Welcome to the Money GPS Live. Thank you for being here today. I'm getting everything set up on my end. I want to welcome everybody. All right. Get this going. All right. Thank you, kittens. We're getting some kitten requests. Unfortunately, we had a few individuals that were very upset about the kittens. So that's a tricky one. All right, almost done. Instagram going. We got this going. All right. There we go. All right. I think that's done. Louisiana's in the house. Hello, Susan. Thank you for being here. That jobs report. Yes, I'm going to want to talk about that. Intelligent brother from another mother. I'm not intelligent. I am not intelligent. I'm simply an observer. That's all. All right. We're here for the truth. The jobs report was very funny. I thought it was interesting because there were like three different perspectives on the same thing, saying one, it was way off expectations. Two was that, oh, now this gives the Federal Reserve an excuse to not have to taper yet. But the third one was, okay, overall, the job situation is good, and therefore that means the economy is getting better and so on. I couldn't believe it. And let me just do this as U3 unemployment rate. Let's do it. All right. 6%? No, where are we? April. What are we doing? I thought I saw 4.8%. Let me just see what it is. It is, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get any more fraudulent. Wait a second. Where am I? There it is. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just do this just for fun. I want to show everybody who's in the house right now. Share the screen. Pulling this up. Take a look at this. Might be hard to see. I'll zoom in. This right here is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Hello, guys on Instagram. I'm just showing for a quick second that the unemployment rate is currently 4.8%. If anybody believes this, my goodness me. All right, so if I zoom in, you will see right here, that's the U3 unemployment rate is at under 5%, which by some measures is considered full employment. And yet, look at how many job openings there are. Millions and millions and millions and millions of job openings. You've got people that are on all sorts of support systems. This doesn't make any sense at all. This doesn't make sense. It's not 4.8%. Even Powell, Jerome Powell himself said, well, the situation, we can't look at that unemployment rate to be able to tell the whole story. I mean, they're even acknowledging it, but this is the number. This is the number they use. I mean, it's crazy. 4.8% unemployment? No. Now, the markets love seeing that because it does good for them. They could keep pumping it up, but we're here for the truth. We're not here for the silliness. Have a little faith, GPS. I'm sure it can get even more fraudulent. You just need to give it time. Oh, that's for sure. We came here for the truth. That's right. Good evening, good evening. Print up and be happy. We're here for the truth. Print that money. Banking stocks will somehow continue to go up and up and up because of bailouts. And don't forget the stock buybacks. Stock buybacks, huge. truth doesn't matter anymore. What matters is whatever rubbish the markets, yeah, the markets love it all. They will accept anything. Hey, that good news? Great. Is it bad news? Oh, that's also good because it means the Federal Reserve has to print more money. It's crazy. You know, what I've seen more recently with New Zealand, increasing interest rates, I believe it was, New Zealand. Which was the other one? I brought it up recently. India's buying crazy amount of gold. I mean, certain parts of the world are doing one thing and others are doing a complete opposite. It's unbelievable. All right. We got nearly 100 people in here and only 38 likes. We got to hit that like button. Help this channel out by hitting that like button. I do appreciate that. If you have any questions, of course, please bring them to me. And I'm going to answer them as best I can. We're talking about, of course, stock market, but you're willing to bring up any question and I can answer them as best I can. I'm here to take as many questions that I can, but do my best. The Harvard study had the US peg themselves to an already existing cryptocurrency. I don't know if that would happen, but who knows? This winter will be harsh. It seems like that's the case, doesn't it? I mean, here we are, October, and there are already problems with the grid. They're talking about this all over the place. Prices are spiking like crazy, not just on, you know, natural gas and other things, but on basically everything. Like literally everything. And the fact that you can't get simple things for your household, it's just unimaginable. You would think that the country is like sanctioned or something. You're living in the US or Canada, wherever, and it's like, oh, I need to get that product. Yeah, it's going to be 5 times what it's supposed to be, and it's going to take you 3 months. Like, this is not black market stuff. You're buying it from the big box store, and yet it takes a considerably longer amount of time than it did not that long ago. Crazy. Cheers. China's rationing electricity. Yeah, they're doing some interesting things. You think they'll raise rates? Rates in the US, I do not think will be raised for now. I do believe that next month, the more likely, so in anything, it's always probabilities. We never know what's going to happen. My personal opinion is that November, assuming things are roughly where they are today, that they will be tapering their amount of purchases and they'll bring that down to either 105 or 110 per month from 120. So I think that that's going to be the case. I think that they will be tapering their purchases. I think they're still going to keep interest rates at 0, and they are going to reduce the amount printed per month. They're not going to reduce their balance sheet, but they're going to reduce the amount of printing. And people will say, no, they can't do that. Stock market's going to crash. But just look at all of these other countries. Their stock markets are going crazy, just like the US is, right? Looking at Canada, for instance, they had been tapering their balance sheet purchases, or their asset purchases for several months now. So it was at something like, let's say 5 billion, and they brought it down, and I think they've brought it down twice already. In the case of, multiple countries that I've shown recently, there have been many increases in interest rates. So it wouldn't be the first one, and that yet their markets are still doing well. So the suggestion that because they're going to taper is going to make the markets plummet is not accurate at all historically, and it just doesn't make sense. But once the balance sheet starts to be reduced and interest starts to go up, then you have worries. That's all. And along with that, you might see a little bit of risk off. So things change. So people, instead of putting all their money into SPACs and, high tech, growth stocks and tech stocks or whatever, they might put them into other things that seem more reasonable to them. The balance sheet party. Well, do we do it at 9? I mean, it seems silly to do it at 9 trillion. I mean, 10 trillion for sure. I'll say it right now. $10 trillion balance sheet party, no question. Although I just don't know how long it's going to take to get to that level. How long are we going to be here waiting for that? Because they're going to start slowing down the purchases, and it'll take a little bit of time to get. I think take too long to get to 10 trillion. So maybe we got to do a 9 trillion. Just seems like a weird number to party at. For sure, we're going to do the $2 trillion reverse repo party. And there's going to be those who unsubscribe from me as a result, and it's okay. It's all good. Susan, as always, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody out here today giving support in any way that they can. Here for the truth. Susan is here for the truth every day. Appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Susan. Damn straight, $10 trillion balance sheet party. Yes, yes, yes. 100%. 100%. We'll see what comes before that. So we're going to have the $2 trillion reverse repo party. That's a given. Already stated that. And then $10 trillion, maybe even if the ECB, I mean, hey, why not? We've got so many supporters in Europe. So we can do the ECB 10 trillion euro party. Why not? Let's do that too. They might get there faster. Never mind. They said that, I don't know if you saw that in the video I had done. The ECB said that when their emergency quantitative easing program ends, they're going to start another one. Like, they're not giving up at all. They're saying, we got no inflation here. We are going to print the heck out of this currency. We're going to make this thing garbage. We are going to destroy this thing. We are going to give you paper to put in your fireplace at some point. All right. This is awesome. They're doing such a great thing for everybody. Yo, what's up? I'm getting full self-drive beta in my Tesla. Be careful with that. Definitely be careful with that. All right. What are your thoughts on multiple people calling for a stock market crash this month? Surprised they are so specific. Yeah, because October tends to be an interesting month. There have been many big events that have occurred in October. It's an iffy month though, because sometimes it actually performs very well. Sometimes it's catastrophic. So it all depends. There's a few of the bigger companies that have called for a correction. We've already had, Apple stock, I think at its peak was off 12% from its highs. So it does, that was from September on and on. And who knows right now? I haven't looked at the markets today, but there was this general weakness. Looking at this from the weekly to the daily to the intradays, all of that was looking weak. And then over the last couple days, things have changed a little bit because of the debt ceiling. And I've said numerous occasions, the market is looking for a few things. Debt ceiling to get handled. It's been pushed ahead, hasn't really been handled, but the market doesn't care as long as it's not right now. And the next thing is the infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure. What about the stimulus? An additional round of stimulus would look very good for these markets. And the taper situation. So all of those combined are factors that the market is looking at right now. A few months ago, you didn't need to worry because there was unemployment benefits, there was quantitative easing going crazy, interest rates low. All of these different factors were in play, and you knew that, hey, we got months to go, so there's no real concern. But now things have changed. Unemployment benefits for some have run out, all these other things. So the market is getting real tired right now. So in addition to that, back in April, I talked about the China credit impulse. China credit impulse is the amount of money being lent out into the system. They were purposely reducing this in order to cool it down. All right, so they were trying to cool everything down. Let's take it easy right now. Let's take it easy. And as a result, the whole world slows down in the coming months after that. It takes a while to kind of move around. But that basically coincides with what we're seeing right now, this general slowdown. But at the same time, there are other domestic factors, like I said, stimulus running out and so on. So I don't know. There's a lot of people who predict a lot of things. We never really know. You can, of course, you could still make money up and down no matter what direction the market's going in. But things are really, really overdone at this point. But we've been saying that for a long time, right? What do you think of AMC? Do you think it has a chance to pull a Volkswagen, or do you think the market is going to crash? I'm not sure what the accession is about AMC to begin with. I mean, maybe if Amazon buys them, I heard there was speculation that Amazon was going to buy them. If they do, then they have a place to distribute their content. There is a demand for being physically at the theaters for some type of movies, like for instance, the James Bond movie I heard did very well. So there is a market for that. However, nobody wants to go see whatever the newest Adam Sandler movie that he made this month. Okay, it's just something that they're just going to go on their TV, they're going to watch 15 minutes of it, they're going to fall asleep, and they're never going to do that again. It doesn't need to be in the theater. So I think, the market for more and more and more and more theaters probably is not quite there. I think the trend is slowing down regardless. So that looks pretty weak on AMC. Why the stock is doing so well is because of the speculation. Just looking at everybody's questions and comments here. Seven shares of truth. You came to the right place. How much money are in 401ks, and should people eat the penalties and taxes at this point? If you can, I know people have told me that they've moved the money from the 401ks to a self-directed IRA. If that's a possibility, 100% I would do that. That's where I would start. So at least you have much more control over what happens. Now, a lot of people, they love the idea of their employer matching their contributions. They'll put it in the 401k, and that's all good. I know they just, when I talk about this, people get offended and so on. But, I don't want to tell people what to do with their money and so on. I just think that you shouldn't be incentivized to, put your money into something you really don't want to, but hey, it's free money. For a lot of people, it's just not the right thing. Most people, when you actually look at the fees you're being charged on a lot of these funds, you're just losing a lot in the end. Like if you look at the amount of fees and you total up those fees over a long period of time, you lose. I shouldn't say you lose, but you gain a fraction of what you could have. If you see just a few percentage fee really adds up over the decades. Really does. The banks having power outages? Who knows? Who knows? What do you think about copper? I think it's directly correlated to what we see with construction. So if the construction starts to decline because, hey, all of a sudden, wait a minute, we have a million additional homes, nobody needs these, and China starts to slow down, maybe they're going through, a reduction in growth or whatever, that's going to impact copper's price. But when things are booming, copper's going to do well in general. Will many banks go down? That's a hard question to ask. Depends on the type of crisis we encounter. If we're going to have a financial crisis, then yeah, banks are going to go down. If this is related to, real estate, it's possible because they're the lenders. But there could be a situation in which they don't, right? It really all depends what's kind of that catalyst. What's the big problem? Did this happen? Cayman Islands agreed to 15% tax? I'm extremely surprised at that. I'm Googling this right now. Will impact Cayman. Hold on a second. Let's look at this together, all right? Sharing my screen. Hope you can see that. I am blocking the request for my location. Thanks a lot. Yeah, obviously Canada, France, Germany. Yeah. And will have impact on zero tax jurisdictions, such as Bermuda and the Cayman Islands. Rich nations have struggled for years. The deal enables, yeah. I don't understand how it impacts them. Countries to tax 20% of the profits of the large and most... I don't see how it impacts them because they don't have... that's strange. I gotta look into that more. Because they made it clear that they don't want to take part in this. And they basically said, we are tax neutral. So if you are an individual and you open up a business in the Cayman Islands, they report that income to Canada, UK, US, wherever it is. So that income that you're making there, you're not hiding it there. Okay? As soon as you take that money and you bring it in to your country, the authorities know exactly what's going on. There's no hiding it. Now, if you live in Cayman, you work in Cayman, you're a business in Cayman, you're a Cayman resident, there's no tax. So I think it might apply to businesses that have jurisdiction outside. Like you're a Canadian business or individual and you got this office set up in the Cayman Islands and is basically being used as a loophole, but really you live in Canada. That's the kind of thing that's going to get, demolished. But if you live in the Cayman Islands, they're not going to charge you tax. I think that's what it is. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how it unfolds. Okay. Housing shortage? I would disagree with that. Manage your own money. I completely agree with that. How do you think Evergrande will affect the U.S. economy? At this point, we still don't know enough information, but because all these companies are directly interconnected, it is a problem. A slowdown in China is a slowdown around the world. That's key. That's important to understand. So I think that for a lot of these companies here, they've invested one way, shape, or form. They've been buying their bonds, this and that has contagion effects. How badly we only know in time. So far, we haven't heard anything. Think about it. A week has gone by. They defaulted on at least one, I think two of their bond payments. No information. Do you think the power outages in China will create a supply crisis for the Xmas people or benefit from stopping buying stuff? Everything is made in China, just to be clear. Like everything is made in China. So it's going to impact the entire supply chain for everything. A lot of people don't understand that they get their product and it says made in USA and they feel good. And of course you should be buying locally. However, the chances are, unless you really research that company, they're probably selling you a product that 9 out of 10 of those components are made in China, and they just assemble it with putting one screw on the end of it and then putting it in a box. Okay, made in the USA. That's how it's done. Okay, they get around everything. There's always different ways to do it. Assemble it when it comes back in, and leave out a part or two and complete the task. And that's a simple matter of fact. So anyway, yeah, it's going to impact the whole supply chain. It's already such a big problem. It's just getting worse. I told you easily a month, 2 ago, when we move into fourth quarter, the demand is always there. Intensified demand in the fourth quarter. Products moving usually from China to the US, particularly to the Long Beach, LA port. And there's going to be mass congestion and disruption regardless. And now on top of that, we've got all these different problems. It's a mess. It is a mess. If we can devalue the currency faster than the depreciation of the assets, the sky's the limit on the stock market. Earl, I would just say to you that the inflation is becoming a problem. And if inflation gets too high, then the people will revolt. And there's only one solution, of course, is to raise interest rates. The markets will do anything that will perpetuate the banks being in control and the bank's longevity. Oh, for sure. I mean, they work hand in hand, completely. China will demolish their extra homes and then rebuild them. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. They did that in Detroit and other places, actually. Completely true, though copper is a commodity too, so it's retaining its value. Yeah, for sure. Copper is a fairly durable metal. Yes. I mean, in general, if you've got inflation, you've got things of real value that are going to stay above the fiat currency. It hasn't been implemented. Cayman Islands, right? Yeah, I'm paying attention to that. I really don't see it affecting. I'm making a big change. If you live, work, you got your business in Cayman Islands, I don't think you'll be taxed. That's my guess. Do you think money will rotate to Bitcoin if they expect the stock market crash? I am guessing here because we haven't had a crash, a real crash. The closest thing we had was early in 2020 there, and Bitcoin didn't perform well during that period. But what I would say is that if there's a real crash, you're going to have a lot of the speculative money, which is a large percentage of cryptocurrencies, that's actually going to flee. Like, think about it. If you're a hedge fund and you just bought, I don't know, whatever, thousands and thousands of Bitcoin, okay, are you going to sell your Bitcoin or are you going to sell your Apple stock? Like, realistically, these they're putting $1 billion into Bitcoin. All right, cool. And they've got however much in their Apple stock. Are they really going to sell the Apple stock before the Bitcoin? No, the hardcore people that really love it and really believe in it, they're going to hold on. Up or down, doesn't matter. But a hedge fund and one of these investment companies, they don't care. Like, they don't care about Bitcoin. They're just trying to speculate on the price. So they'll sell off first. And you know that because anytime there's one little bit of news Slightest Bitcoin's banned in China this week. What happens? Instantly, there's just this huge fallout, huge sell-off. But that doesn't make sense, right? Because if you really love Bitcoin, you would, who cares? Who cares what China does? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I see it. But again, I have no history to determine that. But that's just the way I think. Zero 0.01% chance this Cayman agreement goes through. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of fine print around that. UK agreed to it. Yeah, so a lot of the thing is, like, all these other countries are going to agree. Canada, the US, UK, because the number for them is higher than the low tax countries. So it's higher than 15%, almost all of them. So sure, they're going to say, yeah, you got to do a minimum 15%. But it's really ridiculous. It's all really ridiculous. All right. Yeah, Taiwan is big, real big, and I'm seeing news every day. I was going to do an entire video about it. But it's such a touchy subject, and I'm in this state where I'm thinking, I got to watch the kind of risks that I'm taking at this time. But I would advise everybody pay attention to it. You don't expect anything to happen because, we see so much that doesn't turn out, but it's just crazy how far this has come in just a matter of a couple months, really. Smash that like button. We got 215 people in the house and only 135 likes. Can you believe it? Hit that like. Where are we? There we are. Right down here. Hit it. All right. Gotta sleep, but hit the like. Thank you very much. I live in Taiwan and people are still chill about the situation. They've seen this many times in the past. Good to know. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. You would know better than me being on the inside. So thank you for that. And that's why, honestly, there's no exaggeration here. I believe that the Money GPS subscribers, like, this channel is amazing because of the subscribers. That we got people all around the world sharing things like that, saying, actually, yeah, I'm there and this is the situation. Like I showed you before, I had pilots that were flying over LA Long Beach, sending me pictures so I can visually confirm. Like, I'm crowdsourcing information from all around the world. I'm an aggregator, but not just from mainstream or government reports, actually from individuals. So I thank you. I thank you for making this awesome. Really. It's unlike anything else. Unlike anything else. I look at other YouTube channels, and oftentimes I don't see them any interaction whatsoever with their subscribers, and they come off as the whole like guru thing, even though some of them are a little bit more moderate, but still. It's like, I know everything. Listen to me. I know exactly what's going to happen. And when it doesn't happen, I'll just tell you something else, and then something else, and then something else, and you forget about that old one. That's how the news cycle works. But anyway, different story. I appreciate it anyway. Yeah, I've heard about this many times before, and I would not count on that whatsoever, because debt is the tool of control for the elite, and they will never give that up. They're just not. Thank you for the support. Corrupted. Appreciate it. The Fed can't afford to let things crash. Gold is a joke. Apple is the best stablecoin. Yes, Taiwan is next up. Hong Kong rolled over so easily, nobody did a thing. China owns Hong Kong, so it rightfully went back to China. People forget that. All right. Some bold statements in there. Bold statements. What does everybody think about that? Put your comments right here. There's a lot to that. One of the YouTube censors must be on vacation. Subscribers have gone from 269 to 272. Yes, actually, surprisingly, positive growth in the subscribers. Can you believe it? Wow. Positive growth. It was declining, I think 2 months in a row of declines, little by little, slowly declining. But now, actually went up a little bit, which is good. Paul, thank you. You're the man. Thank you for all you do. Society has goldfish memory. People forget a lot of things. That is absolutely true. Yeah, when you look at the actions that people take and what they do in their daily lives, it's really unfortunate, to say the least. So, but the people here today, obviously, they're more astute than the general public. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to know that there are people out there that actually want to know stuff. They actually want to dig in a little bit. Yeah, that takes effort. I hear from people all over the world, and it's good to see that there are some people, anyway, that care. You do the research, digging for facts. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you again. If consumption drops, so will Amazon. For sure. There's no doubt. But look at what's happened. So it drops in terms of sales on Amazon. There's no doubt. But if you look at what's happened over the last, like Amazon, I don't know today, but just recently was in a negative for 2021. So despite everybody buying everything on Amazon, you go down the street and you see Amazon drivers everywhere. Okay. It's incredible how many vehicles are on the road just delivering Amazon packages. The stock in the negative. So it doesn't necessarily correlate a lot of the time. Even Bezos himself said that back in 99, like the 99, I think it was time frame, to 99 to 2000. He said basically stock is just plummeting, but all of our business metrics are going up at that time. So he said, we have nothing to worry about. We'll just hang on. Don't worry about the stock. Let's just focus on the business. And they did. They persevered through that. So we got to take it for what it is, I would suggest. But I do agree that, hey, if consumption is going to drop, one of those places is going to be Amazon. Debt is a drug. I agree with that. Oddly, I know people who contribute to their retirement but have credit card debt. I find that I think that's the strangest thing ever. Why would you do that? Pay the credit card. Don't invest. If you've got credit card debt, my opinion, you should not invest. You shouldn't invest. That's just my opinion. I don't forget. I remember the previous bull and then the double talk and revisionist history of those other YouTubers. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Too much nonsense out there with people trying to, I don't know, maybe it's like a short-term thing. They're trying to get those short-term views, subscribers, whatever it is. A lot of these really big guys, they know how to game the system. They know how to do it right in that respect. And they get a lot of subscribers coming in. So they're doing that part right. I just don't think they're doing a service to the people. That's what I would say. Google stock, I haven't looked at it right now, but it had performed better than the rest of the FANG stocks. I can tell you that this year. And because the Fed is Fed money pumping, we will never see a financial market crash, but that doesn't mean everything around it can crash. For example, super high inflation. So the Federal Reserve putting money into like buying up their assets the way that they're doing doesn't make the markets come up directly. We know that there is correlation, and that's for sure. However, back in 2019, from September 2019 through up until they began QE5, they printed more money. So before QE5 actually started, what was it, February, March 2020, whatever it was, before that, they had printed more money in those few months than they did ever before. In a time when they said, we're not printing money, we're doing a technical adjustment, they printed all this cash. So they're printing, so much. But they are basically telling the markets that, this is nothing, this is not happening. What happened? What happened to the markets? March 2020. They got wrecked. So they're pumping money in. Stock market gets wrecked. How can that be? They just printed more money than they ever have in history. They were already preemptively doing that before the stock market actually crashed. Then they went to QE5 and printed even more money. So we got to know that. That's history right there. Recent history. How would you set yourself to benefit from the upcoming crash? I would learn how to swing trade. 100%, wouldn't even question that. Learn how to swing trade now. But I would also prepare in terms of inflation, like get your stuff in order, try to pay down the debt as much as possible, although that is counterintuitive. I would, if you've got a backyard, I would be growing food in that backyard. You live in a cold environment, make a hoop house. Make a hoop house. What is a hoop house? It's basically a do-it-yourself greenhouse, okay? Using some plastic sheets, no problem. Prepare like simple things that you can do, okay? Thank you again for the support. The whole system is a joke. I agree with that. If you're not already well off, I have bad news for you. If you couldn't make it in the last 12 years and still going, I'm not sure how most will make it. Hold strong assets. Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate truth is that there are people who got hurt during the financial crisis, millions of people, and literally never made it out of that. In fact, the bottom 50% is largely worse off today than they were pre-2008. And that is sad. That's unfortunate because of how much money has been taken from the taxpayers, how much money has been quantitatively eased, all of that, and 50% of the population is worse off than they were 2008. It hurts. That hurts. So, yeah. Just reading through your comments here. Quick little bit of humor. I'll show you this. If you guys were here earlier, you saw this. We are 44. Wow, already 44 minutes in. quick little bit of humor. This is directly from the BLS website. Remember, when you come to the Money GPS, you get information directly from the source, unlike 99.9% of all of the rest. You get the sources always in the description of the videos. I get comments every day saying you never source any of your work. I don't know why. I really don't know why. It's been there since the beginning. Everything is sourced. I've always given every source for everything I've ever used. You go down to the description, sources used in this video, not the live videos, but all of my daily videos. Anyway, bls.gov, that right there, the highlighted portion is 4.8%. The U3 unemployment rate, the benchmark for the unemployment rate in the United States, is currently at 4.8%. And by many, they suggest that 5% is considered full employment. So right now, despite the crisis, the employment crisis that's going on today, the United States is at the same time with full employment. Whatever. It's just ridiculous. Of course, the worse the situation is, the more money the Federal Reserve can print. And I think that's part of it all. I noticed many young people learned how to make money on the stock market and did quite well with it. They make more than just any normal job would ever pay. That's absolutely true, especially with the leveraged ETFs, right? People are getting into leverage ETFs. Market's been going up like crazy. They just get on in that and they multiply their investments. So they'll do well, of course, on that until the market becomes very turbulent. But at this time, they're accumulating like crazy. Watch for when the media starts narrating that inflation is actually good, and we need more. Yeah. I'm sure they say that it is. I mean, why does the Federal Reserve, they're saying we want to create 2% inflation? Why? Why do you need to create 2% inflation? Why? Like, why? Don't. I don't want to vote for that. I don't want that. I'm sure actually a deflation would help the vast majority of the people. Might hurt at first. I severely doubt housing market will crash. Inventory is way too low. I find the inventory thing very strange, very, very strange. With no new immigration at all, suddenly you've got people moving out of the big cities. Okay, so Manhattan, people are leaving Manhattan and they're going to different locations. People are leaving Manhattan and they're either going to, let's say, the suburbs, or they're going to places like Florida, Texas, whatever. Okay, but you look at the data and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Where do these people come from? Why? Oh, everybody's moved from the city and they're moving into their homes. They need an extra bedroom. They need a little bit of office space. They need some room for their kids to play or whatever it is. Why aren't there more vacancies? I mean, you go down, you've seen the videos before. People going down, whatever, Fifth Avenue. Every store is boarded up. You look underground Toronto and what's called PATH, P-A-T-H. In the PATH, which is something like 30 kilometers worth of like underground city. It's ridiculous, okay? It's all shuttered. There's nothing there. What happened to these businesses? Why isn't that showing up in the data? The job situation right now, according to the statistics in Canada, it specifically states that all of the losses that were incurred in 2020 are now back for jobs. What? I just told you that there's an empty city underneath the core of Toronto. What are they doing now? Are they all driving for Amazon? This data doesn't make sense. And that's why they can obscure things by using things like the U3 unemployment rate that is created intentionally to obscure, not to inform, not to calculate or document. Not at all. Thank you again for the support. BlackRock is buying all of the hot home markets. They will be becoming your landlord, and the Fed buys $80 billion a month in mortgage-backed securities. Joke. It is true. Not just BlackRock. Of course, a lot of these financial institutions are doing this. They are going to own everything. The big money is going to own everything. That's the goal. 100%. Feudalism, call it what you want. Paul, thank you very much for the support. Inflation leaves behind the lower class. Talked to a friend today, single mom. She can't get an apartment with her kids at $2,200 a month in Central Florida. Crazy. Wow. That's unbelievable. I mean, Florida is booming. There's no doubt about it. A lot of jobs moving into Florida. Financial companies are moving there. It's becoming like secondary to New York, really, in terms of financial jobs. It's becoming, a big change. They're trying to get even tech jobs over there. It's really changed a lot. But, this is what they do. They create these problems. They create these disruptions. The central bank does this, in my opinion, intentionally. I've read the history. I see it. It's there. So there's no reason why they truthfully should be doing this. I mean, it's just sinful. Steven, thank you very much. Love your content. Just found your channel. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Got some new subscribers recently, and I'm thankful for every single one of you. There's just so much content coming out every day. Yesterday, I had to make that second video. I normally don't do that, but I needed to because that was one that people were waiting for about the repo operations. 2 years later, wondering, hey, what happened with this? So I brought that information out as soon as I found it. There are no vacancies in houses in Canada, apparently. Apparently, they just got magically just bought up. Did you see Burry's tweet today about the rich getting richer? It's all going to happen again. When it collapses, the rich will just buy it all up, and I don't think prices will come down. Greed will keep it up. So I agree with that, the rich getting richer, obviously. In terms of, they won't let it crash, but the crashes are when the rich make the most money. So in my opinion, if they want to make money, if that's the goal, then they would crash it. Multi-generational families and homes, yes, which is not a bad thing, but if they don't want to do that, they have to do it because they can't afford it. Otherwise, that's a problem. Thank you for support. New York and Cali shot themselves in the head. Florida and Texas deserve the influx. Try and get ahead on your own. Don't depend on anyone else, especially the government. Good luck all. Yeah, for sure, because the less regulated areas or the more business-friendly areas, they saw money flowing in, jobs flowing in. I mean, that's a matter of fact. As soon as 2020 happened, that was a very clear and distinct situation, no doubt. Going to investigate swing trading. You could check out the interview that I did with Profit Market. It was 3 months ago. Profit Market. He explains the Bollinger Bands, gets into some detail there. Check it out, definitely. Same with the mortgage-backed securities, empty spaces that can't lease because the securities would drop in value. Oh, absolutely. There's a huge problem underlying all this with the derivatives. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to start my own money supply. We should all do that. But of course, they would say that we've got the legal tender, we can do whatever we want, and you can't do anything at all. This is what they do all the time. How long have we been on here? Let's see. We're at 55 minutes in. 55 minutes into it. Excellent. Good stuff. I'm going to try to go as long as I can. I am on no coffee for 2 days in a row. So this is difficult, I'm not going to lie. The GPS token, yeah, I should make that NFT or something. I saw this video about monster real estate conglomerate that Zillow is trying to become, and how they are responsible for crazy house mispricing. Oh yeah, big time. Big time. But this is the future. This is what they're going to do. 100%. I don't like California, but don't know if I hate it enough to move to Texas. It's all dependent on what people want, and there's many factors. It's not just where is the cheapest place to live, or where is the place with the lowest taxes. I mean, there are always going to be different things. So when people say, which country should I move to if I'm leaving the US and so on, I think there's a lot of different things at play here. So like, you could say I'm going to move to Cayman Islands, but actually right now we don't know what's happening with their tax situation. But I think that you got to really figure what do you want? Do you want safety? Do you want good health care? Do you want, I don't know, your family? Is that the most important thing? No matter what, family on top. You got to decide. I gotta run. If GPS talks about rental-backed securities after I'm gone, he has to make a video about it. Is that a real thing? Thank you, as always, for your support. Thank you, as always, for this week's great video and info. Yes, yes, yes. I'm doing as much as I can to get this information out. There's so much. It's crazy, but like right now I have, I don't even know, 30, at least 30 tabs open. So I don't know how I'm going to get into all of that. I've considered making two videos a day and kind of breaking them up a little bit more, but I'm not sure. Not sure about that. We'll see. Man, I appreciate your GPS. I don't have friends to talk macro and stocks. It's nice to come here and have a mentor figure. You do the most to get us the daily vids and these lives much. Yeah. Absolutely, Bryce. Thank you for coming here. That's what we're all here for, right? Probably our families, friends, coworkers, acquaintances, they don't know about this stuff either, right? They don't want to talk about it. Okay. And so this is the place to be. I love seeing all the conversations that are going on in the chat, people communicating within each other. That's the key, because we need to realize that we need to form alliances. We need to get like people in here right now. One person's an electrician, one person's an IT tech guy, one person is a manager of something, one person, like everybody has their own skills and everybody's coming from different parts of the world, and we can learn bits and pieces from each and every one of these people. So it's awesome. Thank you. Virtual cappuccino for you. I prefer espresso. But I'll take that. Thank you. I don't know how I'm gonna get the video of the day recorded with no caffeine in me. Instagram. So in 30 seconds, this is gonna cut off, and then I'll come right back. It's a 1 hour max. Just do it now. Instagram has that 1 hour limitation. All right. Let's see. I'm still here, but you should make a video about rental-backed securities. I haven't even heard of that. I'll have to look that up, I guess. David, I went on a 13-minute rant the other day inspired by you. That's funny. That's funny. Good. I hope I can be of service. Good stuff. Okay. Clean water is going to be the biggest issue. Get a purifier. That is a huge thing. People need to be aware of that, and they need to have some sort of filtration. In fact, multiple forms of filtration. You might use a Berkey water filter for your drinking water, but it may not provide enough for your whole family to have for everything, right? Maybe you're for the cooking water, you can use reverse osmosis. For your tea and coffee, you can use distilled water, different things. So there might be a different application for it all, or maybe you do some sort of water harvesting to water your garden, to water the lawn. And if you could do the whole house, I mean, why not? But just little steps along the way that really do make a difference. Worst case scenario, dehumidifier with a Berkey filter. Yep. I love the Berkey. I mean, there's no better tasting water. Distiller, yep. Distilled is good. The only problem with distilled is, if you're trying to use it for your drinking water for your whole family, your cooking water, tea, coffee, like so many different things, you just can't make that much in a day because the process is slow. So, but in general, it's fantastic. I'm a college kid about to graduate this semester in civil engineering. I want to know what's crazy. Can't take a job at SpaceX factory because Austin home prices are up 45% on the year. Wow. That's insane. The prices of these homes have just gone so crazy. So what do you think will occur over the next 3 years? Money GPS. I don't know in terms of what you're suggesting, stock market, real estate, economy. It all depends really on interest rates and what we see with interest rates. How is that going to be? How is that going to unfold? For a lot of people, they believe interest rates will remain low for a long time, but inflation rates are picking up too fast. And so the governments have to reverse this. So the central bank is going to come in and they're going to do what they can. What can they do? Increase rates. When they increase rates, it's going to negatively affect the trajectory of stocks, but more importantly, real estate. And so it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to crash because they increase it a little bit or what have you, but it does slow the process down. All of this, everything we've been seeing, all the insanity, all the speculation is all because of low interest rates. And as soon as they change that, it's going to have an impact. This cannot stand without a crutch. The crutch is low interest. Awesome. William, thank you for the support. And also thank you for telling all the friends and family about the channel. Keep up the awesome videos. I've been trying to make it, just make it more succinct. I hope you guys all appreciate that. 30-second introduction. I tell you exactly what's coming in the video. I give you the timestamps now. which takes me, all this stuff takes me extra time, right? It's all preparation, prep work, making the interesting or cool or funny thumbnails, which might be a little ridiculous sometimes, but that's what it's all about. Just trying to just make it a little bit more appealing. So, I hope you guys appreciate that. And the Money GPS insights as well. It's kind of a break in the video. I try to put it at about halfway or so. So you get this little break in the video that might be 30 seconds long, and it just helps. It just helps the whole situation, in my opinion. People have said it's great. It's a great little addition to the channel. So there's going to be more changes. So stay tuned for that. Love the thumbnails. Good. Thank you, Susan. Loving the thumbnails. Yes. It's just something to change. Oh, and I just crashed. Yay. Not good. I know you guys can hear me, but you probably can't see me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm assuming all of them are down. I don't know why this is happening. Let me see. Let me try one thing. If that's not going to work, I can't do it. Tanya, I see your super chat. Thank you very much. If you can hear me, thank you very much for your support. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Hang on one sec. See if this works. Trying this out, guys. Sorry, 1 second here. I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's going to be screwed up. All right. We're done for the day then. I don't know what's happening here. All right, guys. I'm going to end it there, I guess. We'll do this tomorrow. If you can hear me, I hope you can hear me. I think it's the camera that crashed. But anyway, that's it. We'll do this tomorrow night, back at the same time. I will see you then. And hopefully no crashing. That's it. Thank you all for coming. And we'll see you on the next one.